right. Okay, welcome everybody to the community manager meeting. This is the meeting for everybody who is either running or thinking about, because we include the thinking about people in there, there's a bunch of them, either running an internet television channel, an internet radio station, an internet publishing company, anybody who's out to promote or increase the presence of their brand.
Yep.
Whatever their brand is, right, Vic? That's what this meeting is for.
We hope. We'll find out if they are really serious and they're going to follow the simple instructions you're about to impart upon them. Let's see what they do with it.
Well, okay, you guys, because that's what it's really about. We do this meeting. Why does this come up? Because for many of you who know that we are really out there promoting personal internet television, actually a platform that we tell everyone that they can run, even though we run a very complex version of that, a 6-camera shoot with live desktop displays and all that kind of stuff. We constantly are talking about these simpler kind of channels that many other folks can have that are still excellent. High-def cam, 1-camera shoots, all of those kinds of things. And so because we interact so actively with people, including, of late, Phil Perry, right, the legendary R&B and jazz artists, after doing the interview, we really clicked with them, and so we're helping to work with them. And ideally, we'll have some collaborative things we're going to do in the future to promote the music. Phil, he looks like he could be an on-air personality, you guys. So besides singing, there's so many things that we could be doing, and the idea is to try to merge some of those. So we want you to live and see the experiment, because besides Phil Perry, we have folks like Michael Crichton Rogers.
Right.
Okay, we have people like Kristen Commodore, Sterling Williams, Acapella De General. Okay, we have people like that who are represented and who have channels. Gervin Pognon. These are people that we've met along the way who are all having channels, right, Vic?
Yeah.
And doing different things. PMC, Philip Cuspert in Pittsburgh. And so all of that's important because the whole idea of the community manager meeting, let me get that overlay off of there, is to deal with the topics and issues that come up all the time, because some of them are indeed repetitive and recurrent.
Yes. Yeah.
One of the things that we're going to attempt to deal with probably on the Create Your Label episode, and I don't know if we're going to do it here or not. We're going to do it on one of them, is the universally. Is that me?
That's me. That's people calling me right at the time I had notified them that we were going to be doing the show. So I love when they actually call
right during the show.
But there, you invite them to have questions, you guys. When you do that, then everybody says, hey, well, I'm going to call you right at that time. So I invited, but sometimes you got to let the setup go first. And we have to let your setup go first, man. That's more important. So.
Well, thank you.
I invite them to call directly. When I say, you don't have to wait for the traditional radio line. You could just say, call me on my cell phone, and keep it simple. And if the timing is right, I will pick up. But I didn't want to interrupt that flow you had. So peace and patience to you all until we get to the next one.
Yeah, well, that's the idea, because this is a work in progress. And remember, we're going to deal with the issues that are common. The number one issue we said that we've got from everybody running a channel is how to navigate through live stream and how to simply add videos to their playlist and change them. So we're going to deal with that. At some point, we're just going to deal with that. But we're not going to deal with that necessarily right now. Right now, what we're going to deal with is, first of all, get into this general discussion, which has to do with what is the best way to approach having an online presence. Is it better to have a Facebook page, a website? Is it better to try to promote myself at Reverb Nation or at MySpace? Should I have more than one profile? How many places should I represent myself at, and why? This is a recurrent question, and so we decided to deal with it. And I think it was best illustrated by, so funny how some of our people, must have a cerebral kind of a special psychic connection. So, because PMC sent a question just today, Vic, and it was already getting along lines I was thinking about talking about. And I'm going to read the question from PMC. Hey, guys, I do have one question for the meeting. Maybe you have already covered this and I missed it. As you guys know, I am taking baby steps to this online presence thing. I now have a Ustream, a YouTube, Livestream, and Animoto accounts. I have not yet delved into Livestream, but I've experimented and impressed by Animoto. My question is, since my ultimate goal is to drive people to my Beat Shop page to increase sales. Okay, I'm going to highlight that. He said, remember, because you guys are going to have input. And remember, you can get in the chat room on this. My question is, since the ultimate goal is to drive people to my Beat Shop page to drive sales, what is the best way to drive traffic to the various sites that you recommend? I plan to do more Making the Beat videos. My first one was kind of crappy in my opinion. I know, Mario, you always say just wait in and get your feet wet and things will improve. We learn by making mistakes. Any feedback will be appreciated. Thanks, PMC. Well, I got to commend you. All of my first videos of all were shitty. Vic and I were never willing. We were never afraid to do the bad ones. So let me first commend you on that, PMC. We were always willing to do the bad ones. That's why we get started doing this, because we were willing to. Now, Vic, we got to deal with this. This is one of those questions. I fully recommend that I will revisit every year, at least a couple of times a year, and maybe 3 or 4 times a year. It really is that kind of a question. This the whole issue of, and I'm going to quote the sentence by PMC that made me talk about it. My question is, since my ultimate goal is to drive people to my Beat Shop page to increase sales. Vic,
I think
you got some opinions on that?
Yeah, I think you should actually tell them your philosophy on that, because I've heard that philosophy come from you as it relates to driving people to your channel or your website. Now, there can be many trains of thought, but I think it's what you believe and what has happened when people use that term with you. You've sat down with a few people.
Okay, and I'm going to tell you this, you guys, and it's very important, even though I don't think you have to totally embrace it to carry out and cover your bases and cover your ass. I don't think it's worthwhile to try to drive people anywhere. I'll say it again. I don't think it's really worthwhile to try to drive people anywhere. Okay, now everybody's going to say, oh, what do you mean, Mario? Okay, what we do is different. We go to where there are communities and we establish a presence. What I would tell PMC is, let's say you want to increase sales, right? Then what you have is a widget that sells your stuff. You put that widget everywhere you have a profile. Remember, our philosophy is totally different, and I got to stress this over and over and over again. We say that you go gather the same 2 pictures, the same 1, 2, 3 line description of yourself, a TV guide description. Remember that? I said a 1 line or 2 line description of yourself, the same 2 pictures, and that you get in the habit of rapidly making profiles. And the time it takes to investigate a new site, you always make a new profile. When you sign up for a site, like when some of you are joining the channels, you always make a profile with at least that same 1 or 2 pictures, that same 1 or 2 line description. Because your idea is to make your presence wherever the people are. And what you do is you put that widget to sell your stuff at every profile where you are. So you actually go where all the people are. Now let's get to this whole thing. I think that's key. That's why you make profiles and why I make profiles at hundreds, even thousands of places. You do too. And you learn to make a profile in less than 2 minutes, right? In the time it takes you to look at a website, you can make, if you have the same picture on your computer or anywhere, your stuff, you can pull it off the internet from your other profiles, pull it from your YouTube, copy your YouTube profile picture, YouTube profile information over. Learn to make a profile in under 2 minutes. I'm serious about this. And then you make a profile wherever there is people, and you put your same widgetry. Your widgets being You put information about yourself, the same picture, 1-2 line description. Then you put the same plug-in embedded widget that sells your music, whether it be from YouTube, not YouTube, from CD Baby, TuneCore, ReverbNation. It makes no difference to me. And we're going to go take an example of this. Take a look at Phil Perry's page. Okay, but this is very important, PMC. This is important to all of you guys. Now, even if you don't agree with me, look at it this way. You know you need to have the presence everywhere. What is the main reasons why you didn't have a presence everywhere before? Too much work. But I just told you how to do it where you make it no work. You have on your computer, in your flash drive, you make your YouTube profile, and you know where that is. You learn to quickly go where you have presences already. Facebook. Get a picture from Facebook. Get your bio from Facebook. Learn to make a profile in under 2 minutes. Then when you make the profile, if you can embed and put in plugins, embed your channel. Embed your songs for sale widget. Embed your merchandising widgets. I'm going to show you all of that tonight. We're going to go look at the channel that I just did to get Phil Perry going. Wonderful spirit, so inspired me even from the past. And I'm trying to pull Phil in to help me and mentor me. That's why I'm doing this stuff. I told him it's all about, because I want him to help mentor me about. He knows when they know so much about Vic, about the stuff we want to do and just dealing with music labels and being an indie. I just want him to mentor me. And if he mentors me, I'm going to mentor him.
Well, you're doing a trade-off there. And I think the part, I'll take this. I'm going to give them a little bit more credit because I'm going to use the example with PMC. I said, PMC, I think when you sent the message and you said, hey, look, I've done all these things. I said, sometimes you have to say, let me flush out my channel completely as I would do with the artists I represent or the music. You can't have it take a casual back seat because all of a sudden you're visually there. I did a search on Google about, I always search the questions you ask because I believe the answers have already been there. How to drive people to your traffic or drive people to your channel, fans and followers. When I did that, do you know the first linkable line of information all came from YouTube? YouTube is basically constantly telling you
right.
Whether you use video or not, the way you think is that they're saying, okay, pretend like it's audio. Do all these things. So I think what's happening is you see YouTube saying, look, we want you to be successful. So maybe you want to look at different techniques in what people do, how they go and flush out a presence. Mario's doing a great job. He's telling you to put the basics in. But basic information is not going to excite people, man.
Well, that's where you get it. If you get going, you come like Vic says. See what if Vic's totally correct. What I'm saying is, to get going, right? You make your profile at all these places. You plug in your widgets, but you need to be bringing regular content. Regular content. We go 3 days a week plus, but you need to do regular content, and we're attempting to show you about the regular content. But you do need regular content. But this whole issue, again, let me just deal with this issue of driving people. If you make the same profile, right, Vic, at every place where there are people, every community, you make a link back to your website. Now, what you study is whether or not they come. If that's driving them, that's, in other words, what I'm saying, you make a profile, all the places has the same 1 or 2 pictures, the same 1 or 2 line descriptions. You don't need a full you don't even, if you happen to have a paragraph description, cool, but remember, I want you to be able to move fast. Copy it from your Facebook. Copy it over from YouTube. Learn to make a profile in 2 minutes. And then put links back to your website. And then see what happens. If you increase your presence out there, it actually will. I don't like the word drive. If you establish a presence out there all over the internet and people like what they see, they will want to see more, and hence they may go to your website.
Well, and there's something missing in the information you provided, PMC, which maybe it's because I read it different. It's the part where you actually say, I'm not going to use the word, he used the S word, he says it's a SE video, okay, or a SE Animoto, or whatever it is. It said, Well, you need to explain why it's that way. Tell us the reason why you think it is, because maybe you're being too hard. Maybe it's not as bad as you think. Give us the reasons why, because I think a lot of it will help others understand why you think it's not that way. And that may help other people understand what you did or did not do. We're not here to judge it. I just rather you give me why you think it really is not a good video or a presentation. So a lot of times we just don't want to get into the theory of, well, we agree, it's not good. I think it's more to it, but I think the basics you cover. I think you can take it the best title, description, tags of everything. Make people excited about the first page channel layout you're going to do. Now go put that everywhere. Be excited about it.
Now let's talk about that. To two things, we'll deal with that just a second. To the metadata, and we'll go take some examples, good or for better or worse. I'll show you mine as it relates to Phil Perry, right?
Right.
Let's talk about it for better or worse. I mean, I don't have trouble with criticism because I want you to see what I did, but we're going to talk about that. But let me once again address the work issue. Let's say if you, like the software that we use we told you to use to upload your videos to the internet, TubeMogul, free for up to 150 videos a month. If it uploads videos to 30 websites right there and says it'll do more, but say the basic is 30, right? You should go look and see if you need to make a profile in every one of those places. If it fits you, make a profile with the same, like we said, 2 pictures, 1 2-line description, that thing, and then proceed to upload your pictures, your same videos into these communities. Add with the links back to your site and see it will increase your presence because other people start to see you. Now that's for sure. Now the other thing what Victor said is the description, the pictures associated with the videos, very important. You need to write good descriptions. One of the things they said statistically is that if you put a link at the beginning of the description in your video, that there's a number, you got a fairly high number of people who click that. That's why in all of our video descriptions, you see parentheses, pack stereo, link first, then the text. So remember that. That's a pearl. Okay? But we also told you we're going to always come back and tell you there's a strong value to the metadata. Learn these words. Metadata. Those are, it's really a term that applies to the additional data that's tied to a file. We typically use it for music files or video files, but it is simply the title, the description, the tags at least make up in general what we would call the metadata. Okay? All right? So as part of this thing, we're going to go take a look at Phil Perry's site in a minute, so I want to bring that up too. But now remember, we think making videos that are bad, no one cares and really helps, and people really love to see you grow. You think they're bad. We, like Vic said, who knows if they're bad? We might not think they're so bad. You know, that's all those things. So you got to remind that. That's my cat. But I wanted to bring that up because the work thing one more time. If you have a widget out there at 100 websites, when you put a new video in that widget, it changes in all 100 places. That's a key component to what Victor and I believe in. We totally, and I'm going to say it twice, believe in the concept of embedding widgetry at all your profiles so that when you change it at one place, it changes everywhere. That's why you can have a network and if you want to post a new tweet, if you want to post a new video, you don't have to go to each one. Some of them you never go back after you make it the first time. But every time you make a change, it's represented there because you use the widget tree. Did I make that clear enough? You got to use widgetry. Make profiles at all the relevant sites, and then you'll be able to update your information on all of them simultaneously. Okay? The other thing I wanted to bring a mention to, Vic, is the 10-minute manager. Remember, we had told everybody, when you first start doing a channel, think of what we try to say is the 10-minute-a-day manager. That means to interact with your channel for a minimum of 10 minutes a day. In that 10 minutes a day, you should be able to post, we think, anywhere from 3 to 5 tweets about what you're doing. First, do that one, how's your day? What are your plans for the day? What did you do yesterday? Plans for the day. And also to post a 1 to 2 minute video about what you expect to get done today.
And why are you telling them that they need to do at least 10 minutes so they don't get fixed on the time? What's more important, the frequency or the time?
Well, it's neither what it's really the frequency. What we're emphasizing by the 10 minutes, because you don't have to stick to 10 minutes, is what you can get done by changing your habit set. If you get used to posting a video from your phone and the video is your daily update, that can take you 1 to 2 minutes with your smartphone. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to do this. I'll let you know how it goes. At the end of the day, you can say, hey, this is what happened today. This is how it went. So you could do 2 videos a day that are 2 minutes apiece. That's only 4 minutes so far.
So what you're doing is time management, application, and integration. What you're trying to get rid of, and what he's doing is saying a lot of people like to chase how much time they have to do something. And what he's trying to do is say, you know, this is as long as you're watching a half-hour show or even less.
We're saying you can manage and do effectively at least a certain, if you do what we say, to spend 10 minutes a day to interact with your channel, that your system will grow.
Right.
If you post, we really want you to post 1 to 3 2-minute video or 2-minute or less videos a day about what's going on in your day into your channel. And then do some other tweets. And you should be able to get all that done for under 10 minutes, okay? So hit that too. Now, let's go, Vic, now to go take a look at the Phil Perry channel, okay? Because it's what I call a success. Let me just tell you what happened to Lillian while on the go, visiting her mother for Thanksgiving, was getting stuff done. And she actually got it's set up. I built the site while this. So far we have a great relationship because we're trusting each other. Because we haven't even laid out, just so you guys know, no total discussions about where we're going. All this, I just told Lillian, we both had some, and Phil, we both had some like ideas. We had some whole ideas about doing some stuff. I said, let me show you some things, and then we got a whole bunch of collaborative efforts because, as you guys know, we have this Master of Old School series coming, okay? And so I want them to mentor. I said, we can share mentoring. But let's take a look at the Phil Perry channel. Now, right now, because of Lily's efforts, when you type philperry.tv, that's all you have to do now. You type philperry.tv, wow, and you get it right away. And this site represents me. I put the full gamut of feature set into this site, the full gamut of features. And I'm going to turn this audio is going to come up, and then I'll deal with that. And so we're going to see, it starts out with a commercial. Now, it costs you $350 a month to upgrade to the account that allows you to control a bunch more of this stuff. I want you to take a look at this. Is the Phil Perry. Okay, I'm going to turn some of the audio down.
Tell me sort of about the beginnings of your
I can just mute it over here.
And your musical.
Okay, now let's talk about this, you guys, because there's a couple things I want to make the mention of, because it's not by accident that a lot of us have sites at Ning. Mac McAllister, Kristen Commodore, the PackStereo.com site. Ning initially designed, the whole company was put together by Mark Anderson, who's the guy who designed Netscape, one of the early innovators. And so it has, the reason why we use it specifically is because it has the built-in social networking features. I'll say that again. Thank you, that's my cat. We use it because it has built-in social networking features. That means people can join. People can join your site and interact with it much in the same way that you join Facebook. Now, I'm not going to get into this deep discussion of this right tonight, but there will be. I can explain to you why and how there is a big emphasis on building community. But let me put it the short answer. All the features that you like at Facebook, everybody's attempting to give it to you in your own sites and to integrate it. Also to integrate the upgrade so that you never have to worry about it again. They already have reached the point where the integration is such that all the feature sets upgrade everywhere when you use these tools. So That's why. Because you want, if you're going to promote something, to attempt to build community. And it's a different level of community. Lillian Perry wants to get 10,000 friends. Now, they have a 5,000 here and 5,000 there. 3,000 there. She has a bunch of friends. She's close in Facebook friends. But think about it. When you have a Facebook friend, what kind of access do you have to promote to them? You see what I'm saying? It's not the same. When you get them to sign up at your website, if you can get 10,000 of them at your own Ning site, the way you approach them is you determine it. You're in control of how you approach your fan base at your site. That's as different as it gets. You can send them as many bulletins because it's your rules. It's your site. So it's a huge difference from having 10,000 Facebook friends and having 10,000 friends on your own website. Huge as it gets difference, okay? And remember, once you have that membership on your own site, you can do whatever you want, okay? So that's the goal. So first of all, should you have your own website? It's not mandatory. I have to start like that. Because that's the truth today, it's not. It has to actually do with how many projects you're promoting. People who have multiple projects, once you get to the point where you have like over 2 or 3 projects, yeah, you probably do need a website because you need to have a kind of a central clearing place for people to know and see your things and then to branch out into a network. And there's many different theories and ways that we talk about doing this. And you can follow this with us and look at what Pax Stereo's attempting to do. It's something that we deal with every day. It's something I've been dealing with every day for the early 90s at least.
I don't want to go that far back.
I don't want to. But let's say I've been there a long time.
Well, and philosophically, what they're saying is you're saying you've been on what they call the pathway of finding new alternative ways to brand, market, distribute, everything that is in traditional business practices.
Using the internet.
You're just saying I have unleashed the beast and it's the internet and now you're using it and getting the reward. What is the first reward, Mario, that you've gotten from
increased connectivity from people?
Okay.
In other words, priceless letters and connectivity from people from all over the world that make you feel special. That's why I say it's priceless. Because if you get one a day,
right,
on the 5th day, you flying high. If you get a love letter in the internet every day, I'm just saying people who get them know what I'm talking about.